Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk from home with me, George. I'm joined by this week with Dan and Piers as usual. How are you guys doing on this lovely hot day we've got in Britain whilst we're in lockdown? Or semi-lockdown. I don't know, what is it now? Is it semi-lockdown? We could do this, can't do that? Don't do this, do it.
Well, I'm going back to work next Saturday, so semi-lockdown now.
Semi-lockdown.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's going on. I don't know what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do. So I'll just stay watching football, I think.
Yeah,
that sounds like the best method, just to stay and watch football. Yes, we have had plenty of football this week. We've had 14 games and another 5 tonight. Well, when we're recording this, it's 5. By the time you watch it, there's probably about 10 that's happened because football's happening everywhere. Remember that David Mitchell meme where it's just football, football, football? It's just that, isn't it? There's football everywhere. Before I forget to mention, if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, it's pretty simple. If you go to our Twitter, it's at Pitchside Talk. Instagram's talk_pitch. YouTube is Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen to our shows offline, they're all on Mixcloud, which is Pitchside Talk. So guys, today we're going to be talking about the Premier League, because that's back. That's back with a bang. Not many goals, but a few controversial moments and quite interesting topics that's been going on inside the Premier League. We talk about the Championship because that came back as well. And we've got the League 2 playoffs as well because that happened. And that happening on Monday, the final at Wembley. An empty Wembley, may I just add, which is going to be quite strange. So, the Premier League is back. It returned after 100 days away. Every team has now played. We're just going to quickly run through the results. So, on Wednesday, we had Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. That finished 0-0. Man City got back to winning ways by beating Arsenal 3-0. Norwich continued their losing streak by losing 3-0 to Southampton. And Tottenham took a point away from Manchester United in the race for top 4. On Saturday, we had Leicester drawing with Watford 1-1. Brighton took 3 points, their first victory of 2020, after a 2-1 victory over Arsenal, putting them in dire need of points. Wolves took 3 points away from West Ham in a 2-0 victory. And Bournemouth lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace on Saturday. And then Sunday's games, we had Newcastle 1-3-0 against Sheffield United. Aston Villa lost 2-1 to Chelsea, and the Merseyside derby finished 0-0. And then Monday's games, we had Man City hitting 5 against Burnley. And last night's games, on Tuesday, we had Leicester drawing 0-0 to Brighton after Neil Maupay's penalty was saved. And Tottenham took 3 points away from West Ham again in a 2-0 victory. And their Tottenham's first victory in quite a while. But the main talking point out of all these games was with VAR, and goal line technology is struck once again. It's back with a bang. And it came back straight away in the first game when Sheffield United had a goal that went over the line and technology didn't give it. Apparently, it wasn't clear enough, according to Hawkeye. Jack Grealish said it went over the line. I saw it with my own eyes. But he didn't speak up at all because his side would have lost a point. But at half-time, Michael Oliver's watch beeped and told him it was a goal. The technology failed for once. How crucial could this now these 3 points now mean for Sheffield United? They're not doing too well at the moment. But that goal going over the line, that must have been huge. It's like sort of Frank Lampard scoring against Germany, wasn't it? That goal going over the line?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. You clearly saw that. I can't remember what Villa player it was. I think it was Davis. He knocked into the keeper.
Yes.
He was holding the ball. It went behind the post, and I was like, "How was that not given?" I cannot believe that, and I don't understand why VAR didn't come in if goal line technology wasn't working at the time. But yeah, that could be crucial for Sheffield United. That probably should have been 3 points. Maybe it would have been different if that did count, but that could be crucial because, as you said, they haven't had a very good start. So absolutely unbelievable that in the first half of the first game back, something really controversial happens.
Piers, we had 7 cameras looking at the goal line, and none of them worked. 7 cameras were looking at that goal line, and they went, "That wasn't a goal. The technology failed." That just shows Why was that not looked at, perfectly honest? Before the start of the match, going, we should test the technology first before we start.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. Obviously, okay, the goal line technology doesn't work. I mean, the man was laying in the net when the ball went in. But I don't know why VAR didn't review it. Although, yeah, it is the first game back. They should have definitely reviewed it because I think that's really done over Sheffield United because obviously losing against Newcastle now, they've only got 1 point out of 2 when technically they should have 3.
So, yeah, but why did VAR not look at that? Surely that's VAR's job to sort of clean up these mistakes. And it just went, nah, it's fine. It's just, why do they not do it? It's what it's brought in to do, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't give the goal. If he knew it was a goal at half time, well, I guess it would be kind of weird to give it, wouldn't it? But I don't know why VAR, because VAR would know straight away. That's the point of it.
Like, they've got the cameras everywhere. Surely they can do it. Like the TV feed showed it was over the line. Did they not use the TV feed or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it either. I really don't get why VAR didn't come in. It's mind-boggling, really, that technology is what it's there for. And yeah, it's the first game back, but it should still work. I don't get it.
Nobody will get it. But something that has caused a little bit, I don't know if controversy, but sort of different opinions in the fan base is crowd noise. The added crowd noise put onto TVs across BT, Sky, and BBC. How do you guys feel about crowd noise being added on? I don't know if you watched any games of it, but it's been a bit hit and miss. I think at the start it was quite hit. It was quite a miss, sorry, but it sort of was a little bit of a hit in some matches, but it's still been a bit of a miss. But does it give that same sort of feel as like watching a normal game?
No, absolutely not. It doesn't for me. I just think some of the like the sounds are too late or whatever. I think it's a good idea to do that as there's no crowd. But I watched the first game, Villa Sheffield United, with the crowd noise on, and I got so annoyed with it that I haven't watched it with crowd noise since. So yeah, I don't really like it too much. It's not the same for me, but I can understand why people would want to watch it with that, because I think it adds something more as there's people not in the stadium. So yeah.
I quite like it personally. When I watched the Tottenham Man United game, I accidentally watched it without it. I didn't know one channel had it with it and one channel had it without it. Mm-hmm. So when Bergwijn scored, it just felt a little bit empty. And then when I saw Chilwell's goal, with the noise, I thought it made it a little bit more exciting. Like Dad said, sometimes they get it wrong. In the Aston Villa game, they missed. It went past the post, but they still made the celebration noise, and they just had to cut it really quickly, which makes it a little bit weird. But I think overall it helps a little bit. Obviously, it's a bit weird when there's no fans in the stadium. But I quite like it personally.
I'm going to put my opinion. I actually don't mind it with the crowd noise or without, perfectly honest. I really don't. I think it's nice to have it in, but there has been a few moments where I think Bert Lerno made 2 quick saves in the Man City game, and I went ooh, and I heard the crowd noise just go way. I'm like, what? Where's this? Ooh! I'm like, come on, I should be doing it for you. I'll sing some songs. Man City don't sing any songs; they just kind of go way. So it's all fine. But
Man City are too loud on there.
You can't. I'm quite surprised that they got the stadium pretty correct. They did, because it's always empty anyway, isn't it? Their stadium.
Exactly.
So it does sound well. But something I haven't put in, but I'm just going to put in here about the water breaks. We've seen it's been introduced into the Premier League to sort of ease fitness on the players, but has it caused a little bit of controversy in sort of some counts? If the team is dominating, we saw it yesterday with Brighton. They were dominating Leicester, and they went into the water break, and the game flipped on its head or just reset. But has that been a bit of a problem with the water breaks? And should it be possibly removed? I don't know if it would be removed for these games today because how hot it is over this weekend. We're going to have a very hot weekend of football. But should it be removed possibly the next game week?
Yeah, I don't really understand. Well, I do understand why there is. Obviously, it's a different time of the year. It's getting hotter, so and you know the whole virus thing. So I guess there is a reason why it's done, but I think it just changes the game too much. I think, as you said, Brighton were dominating Leicester, and now there's breaks in each half. It changes. It gives teams a rest, and it changes the dynamic of the game, I think. So for me, I don't really like it. I don't know if they're going to actually change it and take it out. But as you said, it's getting hotter this weekend. There's going to be some hot weather, so I don't think they're going to take it out this weekend. But yeah, I don't like it. I think it just breaks the game up too much for me.
Yeah, it does break the games up a bit. I think the team should be able to decide before the game whether they wanted it, whether they want water breaks or not. I obviously understand, yeah, it's hot and the players' fitness levels aren't quite there. But like you both said, sometimes when a team's going at them and then they have the break and then they fall down and then it changes the game. But I guess there's something we've got to part with. People weren't happy with VR, so I guess we just got to part with the water breaks for now.
Yeah, we have got to put it. I was a bit annoyed in the Merseyside derby because I think Liverpool were sort of working their way into the game, and then we had this water break, and I was like, "Oh, come on!" Everton are just now going to just sit back and do nothing, and that's what they did. And then they nearly scored at that point. But we're going to be talking about the biggest winners and the losers from the return of the Premier League, starting with the losers and Arsenal. They're back. They're back to form. They're back to glory. One of the biggest struggles of the return, losing twice in 4 days, 3-0 to Man City and 2-1 to Brighton. Does these two results show how big of a task that Arteta has got on his hands to turn his club around? Because Arsenal look in shambles at the moment.
Yeah, they do. They're looking absolutely awful. From the games I've watched so far, their defence has been absolutely awful. The funny thing is, David Luiz has been so bad that he got a new contract today. So.
Yes, that is breaking news. David Luiz has got a 1-year extension. I can't believe it myself.
Yeah, I can't believe that. But yeah, Arteta's got a massive task in his hands now. And it's been such a poor start. I just don't know where it's going to go from here. I think I can just see them dropping off, and I don't think they're going to get Europe this year. So yeah, it's a difficult time for Arsenal at the moment, and they're not looking good. So yeah, I just don't think they're going to get anywhere at all really in this Premier League season.
Okay, Piers, does this highlight how big the summer's got to be for them? Because they've got so much dead wood to get rid of. Ozil's, we don't know if he's going to go or not. David Luiz is now staying, which is going to be absolutely fun for the Premier League teams. But does this highlight how big the summer's going to be for Arsenal? Because they've got to change something.
Yeah, Arsenal have got a huge task on their hands. The team has been falling for years. I think in their first team, they've only got 3 players who play for their international team, first team, and this is a team that want to be playing in Europe. I don't blame Arteta. I wouldn't blame Arteta for any of this. It's what he's been given. He's been given a mid-table side with some class players. He's got some really good players in that team, but Arsenal need a total rebuild. And I mean, the club is in a state at the moment. The fans don't support the players. The owner doesn't seem to support the club. So I think Arteta's got a huge task on his hands, and I don't know where Arsenal can go from here. They just need to buy as many players as possible.
Is it more of they've got to go backwards before they can go forwards? Could we possibly see Arsenal drop further down the table before they go, right, we need to go back up again?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, go on.
All right. Maybe. I think obviously this summer's crucial for them. But maybe I think Piers is right. They do need to rebuild, and maybe that's what it takes. But yeah, I just don't know where they're going to go from here. I think I agree with Piers that it's not Arteta's fault. He came into the Arsenal job with that squad, and it's not a great squad. They've got a few all right players, but it's not a brilliant squad. So he has got a big task. But maybe they need to rebuild by going down a little bit, rebuilding and coming back. But in the near future, I can't see them being anywhere, to be honest.
Really well. A team that you don't like, Dan, because you're wearing your famous Ipswich Town shirt today, is Norwich. They now need 5 wins in 8 games if they want to beat the drop. the Southampton game showed otherwise, perfect honest. It showed how appalling they've been this whole year. But is time now running out for Norwich after sort of Farke's experiment failed? And they've got Everton tonight. And if you want to see our little pre-match preview of that, you can go to our Twitter, which is at Pitchside Talk. Little plug there, you better follow that now. But is time running out for Norwich quick?
Go on, Piers. You go first.
Yeah, Norwich are down already. I would say that it's an impossible task. They've got to win 5 out of 8. I mean, I wouldn't expect some of the teams in the top 4 to win 5 out of the 8. So, and the way they played this season, they've struggled to get wins. I think that they can pick up a point tonight at Everton, but I think overall it's too much of a task on Norwich. And I think the teams that are above, teams like Watford and Villa, they can still pull in points. I think Bournemouth will probably go down, but the teams around, I mean, Brighton are doing well. They're sort of out of it. So I think Norwich have got too much of a task firstly, and I think the teams around them are doing too well still.
Well, looking at Norwich's fixtures, they've got Everton tonight at home, and then they'll go to Arsenal away, which could be a point in itself, knowing Arsenal at the moment. And they've got Brighton at home, Watford away, and West Ham at home. So they've got some good fixtures that they could get some points out of if they get some form on their side, because these sides are struggling at the moment, Dan.
Yeah, they are. They've got some decent fixtures, but I still think it's a bit too late. I think the thing is with Norwich, it's been like this for 10 years. They've got a decent Championship side that isn't good enough for Premier League, and that's why they just keep going up and down, up and down. And obviously that's happened again. I think they've got some decent players in their squad, and I think they'll probably go up again next season once they come down. But I just think it's too late now. Yeah, they've got some decent fixtures, but as Piers said, teams around them will probably get points. Teams like Watford and Villa, I think, will get points on their way, and obviously Brighton have had a good start as well. So yeah, for me, it's too late for them, and I think they're definitely down at this time.
Well, a team that is fighting to beat the drop is West Ham under David Moyes. They've only got 2 wins in 12 games. Only 5 points taken from 35 on offer, with a tough run coming up for David Moyes. Who have they got, actually? I don't know who they've got, actually. They've got Chelsea, I think, next, haven't they, Piers, if I remember correctly, West Ham?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure myself, to be honest. Ever since the season comes back.
Oh, here comes the
right.
Chelsea. The Chelsea superfan doesn't know. Gosh. Let me just quickly get them up. I thought I had them written down. It shows how unprepared I am. Yes, so they've got Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, Burnley at home, Norwich away, and Watford at home. So some good run fixtures, but they're not looking good. They're fighting to beat the drop. They classify themselves as a big club, don't they? And they're fighting for relegation. Other Hammers now in danger of dropping into the Championship next season more than staying in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think so. Which is absolutely mad. You know, they now got a 60,000 seater stadium. That could be in the Championship. It's absolutely mad, and I'm really surprised at West Ham because they have the squad that can stay up, but I don't know. I don't think the appointment of David Moyes was the right decision. I just don't think that was the right decision for them. You know, he came in basically as an emergency to try and keep them up, but that hasn't really gone well so far. So yeah, I think they're definitely threatening relegation. But they have got a decent run. I don't know. I can't say if they're going to stay up or go down. To be honest, it's just a bit on the fence at the moment for me. Because I do think they have the squad that can stay up, but they're just not doing good at the moment. So you know they have every chance of going down, I think. But yeah, it's going to be tough for them.
It's going to be tough for West Ham's 2 games. As you said, that he came in as an emergency appointment. He came in as an emergency appointment last time when Slaven Birch went. Does it look like the decision from West Ham now, Piers, has backfired on them? Really sacking Manuel Pellegrini, who is a world-class manager. He wasn't performing well, but give him time and he would do wonders for them. He's won the Premier League, for God's sake.
Yeah, it looks like building a nice big new stadium seems to damage clubs. You look at Tottenham and Arsenal as well. I don't know what happens, but with West Ham, they've got a problem just like Arsenal, but they're probably looking like what could happen to Arsenal in 6-7 years if they don't sort their team out. The boards, the fans don't like the board. They don't want them out. The manager, I don't know why they brought him in. He's had no success ever since he got the Manchester United job. He's been everywhere and he hasn't done anything. He's been sacked. And the players is the best thing that they've got. They've got a good squad. So it would be a real shame for them to go down, because I think they could lose some of those key players. But it would be crazy for them to go down, really. But I think with the games they've got, it could look more than likely that they're going down.
It could do as well. And now moving on to the two biggest winners of this return of the Premier League, and one of them is Wolves, one of the biggest winners. And now only 5 points off fourth place, joint points with Manchester United, with a good run of fixtures now coming up. Could we see something special happen at Wolves? I know they got the Europa League come back in July. They've played over a year now. This is quite mad to think. Their season started last year in June, but could something special be happening at Wolves? Could we possibly see them go into the top 4?
Yeah, I think there is something special happening at Wolves. You know, the mad thing is they pretty much had this squad in the Championship, which I think is absolutely mad. You know, they won that league pretty easily. And yeah, they've just got a fantastic squad. I really love watching them. And yeah, I think that they've had a fantastic start, and they're still in the Europa League, and I think they may be able to go all the way in the Europa League. I think that's a possibility. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Wolves do this season. I think they're getting closer to the teams above them. They have to. I know Man United and Chelsea, I reckon they'll get results. So I think it may be difficult to get into the top 4, but I think they can aim for Europe again for next season. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what Wolves do in the future. Definitely.
Yeah, I think Wolves have got a brilliant chance. I think personally, Leicester could definitely drop off. I think I said earlier in the season when we better return that, I think Leicester will drop off. So I think there's an opportunity for Wolves to climb up there. Obviously, if Man City get the ban, it'll be top 5 that get the Champions League. And Chelsea have got a hard fixture tomorrow in Manchester City. So you never know what's going to happen with the points. I could definitely see Wolves doing it. I'm a big fan of how Wolves play, but I would rather Chelsea be in the Champions League than them. But I think they've definitely got a brilliant chance, to be honest. A lot more chance than Sheffield United.
Yeah, and also one of the other biggest winners from this week is Brighton. Brighton are back. They got their first victory in 2020. The last victory was on the 28th of December. They dug deep for that win. They've also got a point away at Leicester, which is going to prove quite crucial because they've got Liverpool and Man City coming up back-to-back at home. They're now 6 points off the relegation zone. Can we now say that Brighton are safe? Do they look the safest out of the sides? They look like they're rejuvenated under this break.
Yeah, I think they do look the safest out of the sides around there. Yeah, they've done really well. I think the manager, I think he's a good up-and-coming manager. You know, he was can't remember. Swansea.
Is that Swansea?
Yeah, Swansea. He did. I can't really remember how he did there, but yeah, they've got a good up and coming manager at Brighton, and you know they've had a fantastic start, and it was a great win against Arsenal. I know Arsenal are on a slump at the moment, but that's still a good win. So I think they've got every chance of staying up if they keep this run going. But as you said, they've got quite a few tough games coming up. But you know teams around them are dropping points as well, so I think they're definitely. I think they're going to stay up this year. They're the most probable team to stay up out of that bottom 6, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with Dan totally. I think Brighton are probably safe now. I think they would expect to lose to Manchester City and Liverpool, but with the other games they've probably got left, if they can get a win or two and a couple of draws, I'd say they're more than safe. And they've had a brilliant time. Mupé has been playing very well. Obviously, you know, the penalty was saved yesterday, but I think the squad looks really good.
Yes, and that's everything from the Premier League. And now moving on to the Championship. We had the Championship back. Dan's favourite league of all time. We've got to give it a little mention for once, haven't I? Because we've had some big news in the Championship, which we will move on to soon. We're going to just talk about the fixtures quickly. So The first fixture back, Brentford beat Fulham 2-0. Middlesbrough lost 3-0 to Swansea, which proved to be Jonathan Woodgate's last game as Middlesbrough manager, which we'll move on to soon because his appointment has been announced. Dan's favourite manager of all time. Millwall lost 2-3 to Derby. Blackburn won 3-1 against Bristol City. Huddersfield lost 2-0 to Wigan. Hull lost 1-0 to Charlton. Luton drawed 1-1 to Preston North, and that's Nathan Jones' first game back as Luton boss as well, funny enough. And QPR lost 1-0 to Barnsley. Reading drawed 1-1 to Stoke. Sheffield Wednesday drawed 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. West Brom took the lead. They drawed a 0-0 to Birmingham City as Leeds dropped 3 points at Cardiff, losing 2-0 on Sunday. And that's where we're going to start off with. Leeds are not top now. They're now off by 3 goal difference off the top. Are we now seeing the Leeds bottle? Has the break not helped them? It looks like the bottling is coming in for Leeds.
It does, doesn't it? I know it's only been 1 game, and I'll just see how many points they're off. It is 7 points, so it's still quite a gap between them and Fulham. And Fulham lost 2-0 to Brentford on the first day. So I think Leeds are going to go up this year. I think if they don't, it's going to be a failure. It was Bielsa's time last year. We all know what happened then with the game against Derby, which we all loved.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I can't see them bottoming it fully this year. I just think their first game back was a drop a little bit, but I can't see them dropping out of the top 2 now. Leeds in the Premier League next year.
Well, before we just move on to a little more Leeds, I have to remember in the Spygate when Bielsa tried to say Ipswich and he couldn't say it properly, and I was like, "Why are you spying on Ipswich? There's no point. You're going to win anyway."
Yeah, I remember that.
So we're going to see Leeds in the Premier League next season. Is the bottling not going to happen? Is that going to be saved for 1 year only?
Yeah, I think Leeds will be fine, won't they? I think if it was 3 points, then possibly. But with 7 and with the amount of games to go, I think they'll be more than fine. I think them and West Brom are guaranteed to go up now.
Okay, so we've got the 2 guaranteed already here from our colleagues at Pitchside Talk. And now moving on to Middlesbrough. So the big news is that Jonathan Woodgate is out after 38 games as Middlesbrough manager. He is out. 9 wins, 14 draws, and 15 losses in the Championship seeds. Middlesbrough only 2 goal difference off the relegation zone in 21st. And their appointment is Neil Warnock. He's not coming to Ipswich anymore. He's gone to Middlesbrough. He's got 8 games to save Middlesbrough season. Dan, the Jonathan Woodgate sort of appointment was supposed to be this new uprising in Middlesbrough. There's going to be something new after Tony Pulis went. Jonathan Woodgate is coming. That's backfired now. This is now back to basics. Having Neil Warnock in short term, get us promoted, please, or just get us stable in the Championship.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a pretty good appointment from Middlesbrough. I think Neil Warnock. He's a proven Championship manager. I think he got Cardiff promoted a few years ago when they didn't really have the squad. I don't think that could get promoted, so he did well there. I think it's a good appointment for them to try and keep them in the Championship because they're in a lot of trouble. I think I said when Middlesbrough announced Woodgate that I didn't think he'd do very well, and I've been proving that as well. I don't think it was time for him really to go to Middlesbrough. I think he hadn't really had that much experience yet, and I just think it was a gamble that didn't pay off from Middlesbrough. But I think going back to Neil Warnock, classic English manager that can do a job in the Championship. I think it was a good choice from them.
So Piers, he has said in his statement today that at least I've got 8 games without being booed at by anyone, which is going to be very strange for me. I'm going to work their socks off. That's just a classic Neil Warnock quote right there. He's back in business. Can he actually, if they do survive the season, which is more likely going to happen under him, but next season, is it going to be more of a, we're going to expect you to go for promotions. He's got 8 promotions under his belt with Championship and League One sides. Can he do it with Middlesbrough? Can this be his last farewell?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Neil Warnock. I've always liked him. I just like his personality. He always seems to do well at clubs. I think he'll definitely keep Borough up. I think he's the manager for it. Whether he can get promotion straight away, it always depends on signings and the players they already have. But I would imagine within 2 to 3 years, if they can still keep him and if he still wants to do the job, I would imagine a club like Borough would definitely be able to at least get into the playoffs.
I'm really disappointed. I think on the Championship they have crowd noise, don't they? And there's that you can't have it turned off. I would love to hear him, just in an empty stadium, what he would shout at his players. The commentators would be apologising every 2 seconds, wouldn't they?
They'd have to mute it.
Just have to get the mute button on him. But yeah, that's everything in the Championship. And now moving on to League Two, we have the League Two playoffs. The semi-finals happened, and we will find out who will be going up to League One this Monday out of Northampton Town and Exeter City after they both made comebacks against their side. So we're going to have no A12 derby this season, which I'm really disappointed at. I know Dan is.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, Dan, you want to be home by 6 o'clock, don't you? From a football game. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Don't want to go to Exeter.
So
a long way.
That's happened, but so it's going to be Northampton versus Exeter. Who will be joining Swindon Town, Crewe Alexandra, and Plymouth this season for next season in the League One? It's a bit interesting because Exeter have beaten Northampton this season in December, but Northampton have beaten Exeter this season in February. So this game could go either way, couldn't it? It
could. I think Exeter are favourites, and I think Exeter will go through it. I think they've been pretty good this season. If you remember, they actually beat us this season in the leasing.com trophy. So yeah, I just think they have enough to go up, which means we'll be playing Plymouth and Exeter in the same league next year, which is not great. But yeah, I just think Northampton did well to come back against Cheltenham. To be honest, I don't really know much about both of them clubs. But yeah, I just think Exeter have enough to go up.
Well, there'll be 2 more plane trips that Marcus Evans will have to fork out for if he's going to go down to Exeter and Plymouth like he did for the Exeter game in the leasing.com trophy. But Piers, looking at it this season, Exeter have finished 5th on 65 points and Northampton Town finished 7th on 58. So it's quite tight between these two sides who could go up.
Yeah, it's a shame. I actually did want Colchester to go up. I thought the goal they scored in the first leg was brilliant, that free kick. But I agree with Dan. I think Exeter are a good team. I don't know too much about League Two. I haven't followed it much this season. But from what I know Exeter have played some really good football. Obviously, they got the good result against Ipswich. So I'm going to back them for the player final.
So we're both backing Exeter City to go up to the League One then?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that is everything we've got to talk about. We've run out of news. We've gone through all the news. Perfect honest. There's no more football news. We just need to stop and reset for another week. Let the Premier League do its thing. So yeah, I want to say thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Dan and Piers, for joining us once again for another Pitchside Talk. Will we see you again next week?
Of course.
Yep.
As always, yes, they will be here as well. So if you want to follow us on any of our social media, at Twitter, for Twitter it's at Pitchside Talk, Instagram is talk_pitch, YouTube is Pitchside Talk, Mixcloud is Pitchside Talk as well. We'll see you next week and ciao.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.